Yeah, so we just imported pandas. So let's take some sample data. I think they can upload directly to Google Colab. They have almost 75 GB. I think 100 and some. Yeah, I think a lot of space is available. You can just upload your data and you can access. If you mount your drive to Google Drive, if you update any files in Google Drive, you can give data location. You don't need to copy to this again. We can mount directly. That is also available. So this is good when you're playing with your Python jobs. Okay, so today we are going to see some pandas transformations. I'll just say pandas transformations. I can share this IPython file. You can directly open in your Google Drive, in Google Colab. If you do double click this file, it will open through Google Colab automatically. Okay, so I'm going to read this file. So the file is I've already uploaded. Copy the path, and you can give it the location of your file. Oh, first command is not executed. Okay, now you see here tick means that card doesn't ready. Now the second one is it is going to execute now.
Oh, okay.
So I'm loading the file using pandas and importing into the data frame. Okay, ready. So now basically first, okay, let me check the type of the file. Well, it's a small df. Okay, so now what is saying, whatever this df is actually data frame, it's a pandas core data frame. So means reading a Excel file, take anything like we discussed in the DAG CSV, right? And read JSON, we discussed read CSV. So there are different functionality depend upon your file that you can use. All comes under the pandas only. So and then we can see the data here, data frame. So I'm just asking, is it empty? No, it's false because I have a data. If you want to see the data, you can use head to see the head records. So see, so this Excel file has this data, all these fields, right? So we have all these columns in the data frame. I just put the head, so it will give you top view records only. And suppose if you want to see the last one, you can use a tail. You can see the tail, the last records. The count is starting from 0 to 60879 records. If you want to see actually how many records or how many columns, you can go for a shape. So there are 20 columns and 6880 records. This is the count. So by shape, we can find what is your like length and width type like that, like X and Y type. So axis type. Okay, and if you want to check the column, see always I'm using df because you loaded your data frame, you loaded your Excel file as a data frame. Okay, and now this is like a table. Normally you write the select star, describe table, all the SQL commands, right? But here,
Yeah.
uh, you will get the same result, but there are small operations only. So on this one, suppose if I want to check the columns, what are my headers? So these are all the headers. These are all the columns we have. Okay, and if you have some requirement to renaming something, suppose df dot, suppose so okay. If you want to do changes and load into the data frame, you can do it. For example, data frame equal to actually what we have right now till now. This is data frame equal to. So you already loaded data frame. Now the existing data frame I'm renaming. So these transformations are storing into the same data frame, like overwriting, or you can keep different name as you wish, depends on your requirement. For example, there is a raw data and transformed data. So DF is a raw data. If you want to apply it directly on raw data and store overwrite on the raw, you can do it. Or you don't want to disturb the original, you want to keep it raw as a raw, and you just want to load only to the different data frames, you can do. You can use df1, df2, and if you create a lot of data frames, you can create. You can use it. That's not a problem. So in this scenario, I'm just renaming. I just want to rename the original ones, and I want to overwrite as the original ones. So let's say, for example, df dot. I'm renaming the columns. So equal to. So for example, I'm taking the first column, the product category, and you can just keep it and just change the name. For example, let me just copy everything. It depends if you, what are the columns you want. For example, I just want to delete the product one. I want to put, suppose, let's say category. I don't want the whole name, category. Suppose I'm taking the subcategory. So I'm taking this. I want to do it subcategory, just use sub. And suppose I'm using the sales territory. Sales territory. So this one, I just want to put the territory. So like this, you can add a number of columns and you can do one or more as you wish. You can just update.
Okay.
So I've just updated. You got the tick, means what will happen? It will override the existing data frame. So if you go with the df.columns, 50 enter, it will run the cell. See, the columns are renamed. If suppose I'm just going back to the original, okay, I'm just running again from starting. I'm just running from starting. Here, instead of executing this step, what I'm doing is I'm loading this into a new data frame called, I just called df underscore new, let's say, for example. If you go with this, and if you see, I've loaded the new renaming columns in new data frame. If you execute this, what will happen? You'll get the original ones, see? Because the original data frame is not disturbed. Then where the result is stored, new data frame, right? I'm taking new data frame, and if you put this one as a columns, you'll see the new ones. See? The new ones. What will happen? Means the whole data frame loaded into a new data frame by doing this transformation also. So yeah, exactly. So you can do anything, like whatever the transformations you are doing, it doesn't matter at the end where you are storing. You're storing into a new data frame or existing data frame. So normally we'll just keep it raw as a raw, and then we can change we can change data frames, and then you can use it for the new names. You don't need to use the same name. Why? Because in future, if you want to do modification or if you want to use raw, you can't use at the end. And again, you have to go back and change the code, everything. So the process is we'll keep as one data frame as the raw, and we'll keep raw as a raw because we don't know what will happen in the future. We require, if anything, if anyone want to use a raw in the code, they can, instead of disturbing that, you just apply some transformed, raw transformed, let's say. Suppose instead of calling raw transformed, it's a bad name. I'll just call df transformed. So I'll call df underscore raw. And then I'll make the final one as a enriched one. Like this we do. So at any point of time in the code, for example, at the end of the code, my client is asking, I want to display 3 results. Done. We can call this as the finally show. We can call this as a finally show. We can call this as a finally show. That is the reason it's always better you create your results into a new data frame and then use it. Because at the end of the day, if you got something in your requirement, if you want to use it as a raw, you can use it, this data frame. So that's the reason. That's the reason again, just for the safe side, you can always keep raw. Okay, so okay, but right now I'm just renaming because it's just simple renaming. There's no transformation, so it should be fine. And if you want to get the columns and rows, suppose let's say if you want to get category, now we have a new thing, right? So df dot, let me execute this. Now we change it, right? No, let me rerun and rerun this. So you see category. Okay, now I want to see only one column, let's say category. So if you see this category, so you see all the data, we call the dots means there is a continuous data, but it is not displaying on this command line, does it, in the shell? But you see the continuous is showing all the records. So now this one, if you want to access columns or the rows, for example, let's say I'm calling 0 as index 5. So what it means, starts with 0, end with 5. When you say 5, this is like n minus 1. This is n and n minus 1. That's a combination. It will take it. So 0, 5 minus 1, 4. So 4. So we'll take it like this. If you want to display any row, yeah, it's like a index n minus 1 combinations. And if you want to, now this is only one column we have. If, for example, if you want to take the more columns and you want to see the results, we can just suppose I want to see these columns. Let's say you can take any order, doesn't matter. It's like simply remember like how we do select, the same process, how it is working. Yeah, exactly. So on the same SQL, how we are doing, same way, these commands is going to work on the backend side, the backend the same way. For example, you're selecting the columns like A, comma, B, comma, C, comma, D, comma, like this from the table. Suppose X. Same way here, I'm going to call the df, the starting, and I'll put everything in the braces. So in the data frame, I'm asking these column names in the column. So what will happen? It is going to display, I think here, missed something. Category, subcategory, product, territory, country, city, state, customer, employee, order count. Oh, sorry. This is because more columns need to put array format. You need to put like this. So you'll get like this format. Because you have list of is list like the list has to, this is a list, right? List of columns.
Yeah.
This is nothing but a Python list. So I'm
Yes.
calling Python list into data frame. So that's the reason we can. So, okay, for example, you got the requirement. You don't want all these columns, only these columns you want to load into data frame. Again, you can use the same one if you want as a requirement, or I can use the transformed one. Okay, I'm just loading into, suppose, transformed one. I don't want to disturb my original one. So I'm just loading the result into transformed one. Now we have how many data frames? Two data frames. One original. Actually, it's not original, it's a renamed one, but it should be fine. It's the original, I call original. And one is transformed one. So if you want to see this transformed one, the only head. Now I'm applying transformations on the transformed one. First, I applied transformations on the raw one. I got the result and the transformed one. And I'm going to apply the transformed here, the requirement. So, for example, if you want to check this transformed one, suppose data types. See, this transformed one, the data types we have. Okay, suppose all objects, right? Let me take suppose date column. Okay, let me take date column. At any point of time, you can come back and change and you can run again. So as I said, these pandas are running on the in-memory and it's a logical construction on the back end. When you run, it will overwrite at any point of time. So it's all like you can play at any time, go back and change and run. So now I changed, I just add a new column called order date. I'm running again. But remember, when you run, when you go back and run, you have to change, you have to run all the steps from that point. Now here I have changed. And even the next line you have to execute. Next line you have to execute. So like that. Now you see for date time, you have date time column. So based on this, we have a the combination. But I just want to load this as suppose date column, let's say, for example. Now what you can do is this transform date. Suppose I'm taking order date, put the single quotes. Okay, so here I'm asking to convert as actual date timestamp. Pandas dot, I'm asking a functionality, you'll get automatically the list. If you want to change any data type to numeric, to date time, so suppose I'm taking to date time, and if you see this, what is the column name? Order date. Actually, you can use when you calling original, right? But I load the result into transform, so you can use transform one. You don't like to go back original one. So not suppose like this. So this transform date and time I'm running. So now what will happen? Okay, just a warning, no problem. It's just a warning that so you're just asking to use this format, but it should be fine. It's just a warning anyway. Just a copy warning. Okay, Now, if you see this, if you go for data types, so as it's a date time, but if you check data formats, so it's order date format. It's order date format. Both are columns, but sometimes you'll get the milliseconds. Now we don't have any milliseconds or anything like for any timestamps differences. You can use that one. If you want to change, suppose I'm taking another column called, do we have some prices? Suppose I'm taking list price, let's say. What is this data type? Okay, I'm going to transform. I'll put here. You can put any page. Okay, I'm just running. See, we have all the floats, right? It's a float.
Okay. Yep.
And if you see here, it's saying float 64. Okay, so it's saying the float 64. If you want to do some data type conversion, so let's say you can do it. So we used here the same way. I'm just copying this. I'll just paste here column name, list price. Just replace it. Okay, on the transformed one, on the list price, I'm going to, it's just like we are overriding the column itself, the results.
Okay.
I'm just asking change to integer format. As type integer. Okay, because it's a flow. Okay, it's saying we have integers out there because we have a nulls out there. Okay, because the data contains some nulls. That's all stored as NA. So we can't convert this
As
format.
into.
Yeah, so that should be fine. Okay, so for example, now let me check. First, let me check, do we have any nulls? Oh, looks, we have nulls. Let me just count. So you see, I'm just asking in the data frame, how many do you have nulls? Now we got the results, right? But I'm asking,
Yep.
show me some. Means in the category column, we have 39 nulls. Subcategory 39 rows are nulls. Product side, same. So each column has how many nulls? For these, we don't have any nulls, but we have these nulls. This is very important for data analysis related. So
Okay.
Pandas is mainly used for like reading, extracting, main doing for analysis requirements. So if you want to check before that, do we have any nulls in the nulls? You can see this column, yes, nulls, yes. For this false means there is no nulls, there is no nulls, there is no nulls. And here we have. So for example, there is a primary key data. Now we need to check is do we have any nulls or something, right? Those scenarios, you need to check your date. And if you want to hardcode some values, what I mean is I don't want the nulls in my sub column. For example, I'm taking category. Suppose df category is null. Yes, there are some nulls out there. So there are some nulls. How many nulls we discussed here? You can put dot sum in 39. 39 nulls out there. Now I go now let's say now my client is saying that okay, this category is I don't want nulls to display. Let's overwrite. We call it hard to code value, right? Like hard to code value means we can by manually we can just overwrite the nulls into some value. So that is called fill now. The function is called fill now. Fill if any null. So especially on this column, I'm taking because the transformations I don't want to apply the whole data frame. I'm focusing on now one. column only. So we can just fill now. I don't want to see nulls in the data on this column. We just specify unknown. If you see null, you put unknown.
Okay.
I'm just calling in place true. So now if you see the data frame executed, see, done.
Yes.
Now if I go and check this null sum, I have 0.
Okay.
Before it is 39. After transformations is 0 because it's overrated. So like this you can apply. If you have anything, the other requirements, like suppose, okay, I'm going subcategory. Let's check this one. So let me use the same function to check the nulls, but subcategory. So category. You see, even this one 39 still is there. 39 nulls are there. So
Yeah.
I'm just now I'm taking this subcategory. So suppose I'm asking this one unknown, and if you check now this one, we got 0, which is overrated. So finally, if you check category and subcategory, you will see both as zeros. Okay, put array, right? The list, right? Because 2 columns. See, I don't have any nulls, but to check, I can use is null 0. No, 0 column, 0 rows, because we overwrite with the unknown. Like this, you can see we are doing extracting in the step 1, and then we are doing a transformations. Okay, like this we are doing all the steps, and we can change. So previously we got the issue, right, for the list price. So if you see list price, we got the issue, right, for converting data type. Suppose what is the issue as type of integer? Because now wherever you got the issue, you can just overwrite. Okay, now
Okay.
it's saying we have
Yeah. Okay.
NA, right? So what you can do is, like, NA means like a not, it's nothing but null values. So what I can do is apply the same formula. But because I'm converting that as an integer, what you can do is you put the 0. Like, for example, I'm taking this. I'll put the list price. When you fill, you put 0
Okay.
as integer. Can you know equal this one? So if we do this run, and now I'm just running this command by converting. See, now it's executed. You got it? So after changing NA with 0, then see, when you say NA means null value. So NA to 0. 0 means actual value, right? So 0 is a value. So like integer, nothing by the end of the day. So it is allowing now changing data type. So now if you check your okay, I'm using all DFs, but doesn't matter. Even if you use DF transformed or anything. Now to check what you can do is, okay, let me check DF D types. If you check now, list price is integer. Previously, what it is? Float, right?
64. Yeah.
Previously float. Okay,
Yeah.
but I got the requirement. I want to display as a integer. So, but if you see this result, DF, suppose I'm taking head, say you saw integer. Previously, it's all with the float values, right? Somewhere here we got it. Okay, suppose if I just add plus here, see when you plus in the middle, I'm adding a plus, I got a new cell. Suppose before execute, I'm checking what is the data type. Okay, because it's taking always run when you're doing changes. So I got this. Wait. List price, yeah. So if I go for list price, Yeah, C float. So it's originally float, but now we convert it as an integer. So like this, you can do these transformations. You can
Okay.
convert, we can select, you can convert, we can do all these transformations. If suppose my client is asking, okay, show me the categories, the unique categories. Suppose I'm taking this guy, the category, anything. Suppose I'm taking category. Okay, you show me the unique, the simple functions. So see, we have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, only 4, only 5 unique. One is unknown because if we replace the as empty as unknown.
Yeah.
Remaining all we have like this. Like this, you can select these results. Suppose if you want to go for, suppose do we have sales in the data frame? Oh, okay, we have not selected. We have selected the sales. Okay, in the original we have the sales. See, this is the problem when you are filtering some things. What we can do here is, suppose I'm taking transformer one. I'll put here. I'll take the transformer one. We got the sales. Yes, I'm just running all. Okay, and here I'm taking transformer one. It doesn't matter at the end. Data frame object has no sales. Is it escape to? Yeah. So okay, we got the sales.
Yeah.
Suppose I want to sum. I want to sum up all the sales. Just use sum. So it will give you the count, the total sum count of the whole the sales. Okay. Or
Yeah.
if you want to apply. So see, you can do like this way, or we can put the column table name dot column name. When say table means like data frame here. So okay. And suppose if you want to do the something, you have any quantity column. Okay, let's take suppose product, suppose category. Let's say if you want to count how many, or just you can count. So there are total 60, 80, you know. So how many column, how many count, how many category records we have.
Oh,
So like this, you can do it. And if you want, you can convert different formats. Um, you can convert to different formats. As I said here, the locations. So this is location. You call as location. Um, Allocations you can take. For example, I'm going to call category and suppose list price. Suppose I'm taking country, let's say. Doesn't matter. Just so on this one, what I'm doing is I'm going to add the updates array list, right? So let's take the list. So I'm going to ask, okay, give me start from the 10th record and do with the 12th record. But I'm doing 13 because n minus 1. See,
yeah.
10, 11, 12 for these three columns. So
Okay.
like this you can do it. But now I got the requirement. The thing is, I want all the categories are lower cases. You see, there is a first letter is your upper cases. Okay, I can put the string and I can call lower. So now it is going to do it as a lower cases. But what column? Sorry. Okay, now we can't apply all the columns. Let's go. Suppose each column wise, we can do transformations. See, I got lower
Okay.
cases, everything. Like this, you can transform um, the results. So like this, we have a lot of transformations you can apply pandas. You can do the group by also applying. Suppose group by. I'm taking the same thing. Df dot group by. So category wise, suppose just taking category. And I'm doing the group. Nice. So by group by,
So,
how the categories, each
okay.
category wise, how many bike racks subcategory counts. So like this, you can We can do group by columns also. If you don't want any column, if you want to delete, you can also delete by dropping. For example, if you see df dot columns, suppose I don't want subcategory, let's say, for example. So you can do df dot drop, you can drop your column, copy the column name. And as I said, axis equal to 0 means row, 1 means column. So I'm taking the whole column. I'm asking in place, put that directly on the place true. So that will do. And if you see, I just use directly, means now it will drop directly from the bar. Now,
Okay.
if you see, I don't have a subcategory, it's deleted like this. That's why I always play with the transformer ones, to make it rise. For example, if I got some requirement, I want to use subcategory, you don't have original data frame, you already lost it. So then you have to go back and change and run again from, see, this is standard. This is standard. So this
Okay.
contains everything. And we are playing all these changes after reading from the original data. But if you want some transformations not required, you just go back and start from the start line, and you can do it. This one also. Okay. So even you can apply some pivot tables if you want to apply. For example, let me check what we have. Okay, I'll just remove this drop now command. I'll go back, I'll run. Okay, because I lost it. If I load into a transformer one, it'll be fine because I applied directly and I have not used df equal to. If I use at least df equal to, I can use at least the previous command. But I directly applied df dot rename, means this is giving directly applying on the original one. So okay, right, done. What next? So df dot columns are there. Suppose I'm just going with the df dot head. Let me check the data. Do we have
Subcategory we have.
a subcategory? We have the sales. Yeah, we have sales. Is there? Okay, fine. Now I want to apply pivot. Do we have here? Let me add some columns. We'll go with the original
This
one.
entire thing is in Python.
I'm sorry.
These are all these functions are in Python.
Yeah, so all these functions are coming from the pandas, Python.
Python pandas. Okay.
Yeah, Python pandas. So
Pandas is
everything is
library, right?
Yeah, it's a library. Yeah, so we use
Python.
library. Yeah, in
Okay.
the Python, we use the pandas as a library. If you observe, normally, see, there are two types of Python. One, if you remember, some 5 years back, around some 7, 8 years back, when you say Python means everybody treat like a Java. But
Yeah, it's C++ language. Yeah.
yeah, everybody is treat like, okay, it's of course, now also it's a programming language. I'm not saying anything differently. But now, when actually data science starts some 5, 7 years back, the actual data science starts using Python, then the functionality is increased and we got a lot of advanced libraries like Pandas, NumPy, SciPy, scikit-learn. Those are all. And those are all using for the data science related, like a scikit-learn, sklearn, which is nothing but all the models will get all the models from the sklearn. So like those type of packages are designed for a data science purpose. But this is for data analysis, for data engineering, for data analysis purpose. So
Oh,
yeah, so this is like from past 5 years, this functionality is using very huge in everywhere. That's why now Python is so friendly. Everybody is calling nowadays Python is friendly because of this functionality.
okay.
Okay. So suppose I'm going to apply. Let me just check ahead. I don't have a year. Okay, what I will do is I think I copy, right? Yeah. No, let me take the original. Okay, I'm just taking the original one. I don't want to run again everything. Okay, just starting from the scratch. If I go for this head, we have a lot of things. Okay, do we have any here? Dot hit. Sorry, not here. Columns. ULU. Okay, your date is there, right? Okay. Okay, let me do one thing. So what I'm doing is I'm going to create a pivot table. We do this in Excel, right? Normally,
Excel, yeah.
but I want to do it in using data frame. Suppose I'm taking category. Hmm. I'm going to take the columns. Suppose order date, and I'm going to take the values. We have sales, right? Okay, I can use this sales. What is the function you want to use? Aggregate function equal to sum. See, of course, we have different dates. Normally, I want to take, so if you take it the only year from the date, and then you can use that, but we have different dates, so it's fine anyway. So like this, you can do it. If suppose now, let's say this is the result, client want to see, you want to send, okay? Now what happened? You read the data from the original and then applying all the transformations, let's say, and you got the result, let's say the final result. Now the final results also have in the DF. I want to send these results like for CSV to CSV to JSON, like now to Excel. I'm doing Excel. I'll say just updated, or I can say transformed data frame dot Excel is XLSX, right? And do you want the index? No, I don't want index, so I'll put the false. So when you run this data frame into the Excel, so the result is storing into the new file.
This collab you can use for any Airflow that.
No, this is, you can't use this
For
for
Pandas.
Airflow. Yeah. For pandas, anything, not only for pandas, any Python job you can do it.
Using collab, yeah, because you can run the statement one by one.
Yeah, I mean, you can put everything in the one line also. Suppose you have 100 lines.
Yeah.
You can put everything in a single line.
But you're executing the one by one statement, right?
Because I'm executing, because I'm just showing to you step-by-step process. But
Okay.
once, because see now, I don't know what transformations, I don't know how to test this, so I'm just going one by one. After end of this, step, now I got the results. All the steps are working fine. You take all the steps, put in the single code, and then while deploying in your cluster, you can deploy as one. Right now,
Uh, yeah.
I'm just running individual cells, so I'm doing the testing. Each command I'm testing. Um, Now I know all this working. I can simply this convert into a separate. Here actually you can export as a .python file. There's somewhere it is available. File, open, upload, move to bin, save a copy. Yeah, I think when you save a copy, it will save as a .python file. It is saved successfully, I
uh,
think. So yeah, I mean this you can convert as a .python file, or when you download to local, when you open with your Visual Studio or something, it will show everything in a single file. So end of the day, it's a single file only, but different cells. Even in our Visual Studio or somewhere, each line works like one line. But here I'm just running all one by one to show you. At the end, you can take all the script and put in one script, and then you can run.
okay.
Yeah, so now we did this step success. If you see, I got the output file here, transformed DFXL. This is the raw, and this is the transformed one. At the middle of any transformations, if you want to store, you can just store as a file, or you can send to databases, anything. So, like how we did with SQLite in the last session, same way, you can send to SQLite from Pandas, right? You can do it. So we can play a lot of transformations. So um, all these transformations, and then you can store the results directly at the anywhere as any format. Okay. So this, remember, when we say ETL, extract, transform, loading, maybe you're extracting from databases or like FTPs, like or SFTPs, like or AWS S3 or something, doesn't matter. But the between T, the transformations will use pandas only. And loading, maybe you're loading as a file or you're loading into database or table, again destination, maybe DB2 or something, whatever it is, that we have. But in between, all that's reading, transformations, requirement wise, the whole logic, the business logic, we're going to apply in between. So
Okay.
this is important. We'll see everyday pandas. Pandas is a daily job. It's not about like one day. It's a daily job. At the end, where you apply some transformations, so we'll use pandas. We'll see this daily part, and in the next sections, we'll focus on connecting different ways of DAX, including these pandas. The combinations we'll done. Today, I just focused you the way of easy way of doing these transformations. Now you have idea, right? How the playing. At the end, we are importing as a pandas as PD, and that PD we are loading in data frame. And on top of this data frame, we are applying all these functionality, any functionality we can apply that we can use it. In the next sections, when we actually running with the Airflow DAX, we will include this functionality. Instead of going directly with the DAG for confusion, I just took this separately, explain. But from tomorrow sections, we are going to merge this with the different Airflow DAG connectivities, and we'll use it as a one part of the DAG. Yeah, I think that's it for this one.